it, try it. What's on your mind? What comes up for you? And and just take it on as part of the exploration. And exploration, you need to allow yourself to feel or to know that you're safe enough to say anything, try anything, and see where that leads, rather than hoping you're ready to say the right thing at the right time. I learn much more by just engaging at whichever point I'm at.
Want to react also?
Yeah, if I may,
yeah.
yes, and I'd like to agree with everyone. These sessions were very eye-opening, especially with the different speakers exposing us to potential to players that may be potential partners in the future. Having Stephen telling us about the gypsum that we can get from Sasso, you know, and also just other speakers who actually opened our minds in terms of alternate industries to the ones that we are looking at and what's happening worldwide, India, you know, in Europe and all these other places that were mentioned today. They were very, very, very eye-opening. I guess now we would just have to look at how we can sort of fuse what we've learned today and the people that we've spoken to today, and try to now infuse those into our ideas, you know. But no, definitely, I'd like to agree. Those these sessions are very, very eye-opening.
Good, thanks, Empo. Maybe Brighton, Bangi Kosi, if you want to react. Bangi Kosi, yeah. No, if you are,
the sessions were fantastic. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Jean-Luc, you're back. Okay, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I would
yeah?
Yes, I would also like to give thanks to the whole team. I had a preconceived idea of how I want to, you know, do things, but wow, it's just a wow. The exploration actually taught me a lot and made me realize that there are so many solutions out there, and there's so many ways I can, you know, do what I want to do. And right now, after the comments made by Monique yesterday, it made me realize that I'm actually, you know, in two industries, not just education, but in two industries.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly.
Yes. So it's something that I can say brilliant, because, you know, there are so many ideas that I've managed to gather, of which some of them are of pressing matters. So yeah, I just love to give thanks to the whole team, and also to fellow entrepreneurs here for the insightful knowledge, because it's not only about focusing on the industry that you want to focus on, but also listening to other entrepreneurs giving out knowledge, so you learn more, even though you were not looking forward to that, but looking forward to venturing in what you want to venture in. So just want to give thanks to the team and to my fellow entrepreneurs in this program. Thank you all.
Yeah, thanks, Bangi Kosi. It's nice. I remember your project when you find your first idea when you present me this idea at the launch in Pretoria, the University of Pretoria, and now we see the way the evolution you had with your project. Yeah, Brighton, if you want to say some words, just to give your feedback, and also there is Vinny and Judith.
For me, I'm really grateful for this presentation from the various presenters. It was very eye-opening. Gave us a lot of pointers on how we should also approach our solutions that we are trying to develop as entrepreneurs, and also to consider the industry, the trends, and where from a policy perspective, how governments, which are the major influencers of industry in terms of policies, are headed towards, for example, green green energy and sustainability, which are amongst one of the hot topics here in South Africa. So yeah, it was very informing, and we're going to take it and develop our ideas further, making sure that we are aligned to the global policies and the trends as well. So yeah, thank you so much for this.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Brighton. And there is also Vinny and Judith. We have not heard yet. Vinny, if you want to react and say some words.
Hi, good day, everybody.
Hi, Hi Judith.
Hi.
Hi,
yes, I think the sessions are really very informative and insightful. And it's like BOCorners said earlier on, it's not just for one particular industry. It actually covers so many different industries. But even in terms of listening to the different industries and what are the key driving forces in each one of them, it helps to stimulate ideas with regards to what are possible solutions for some of the businesses that the entrepreneurs are looking at. So it is really very informative, and it also gives us a much better understanding in terms of what are the key things that you need to look for when you are building your blue ocean business. And I must say, I've learned a lot, and it will definitely even strengthen my own business going forward. So yeah, thank you very much. It's really very rich and meaningful.
Thanks, Judith. Thanks a lot. And Vinny.
Hi everyone.
Hi Vinny.
Yes, I found the last today's session and yesterday's session, very, very insightful and very broad. And I liked, what the people we have invited were saying, and it just opened my mind to endless possibilities, especially today's session. It's very, very insightful. Thank you.
Thanks to you. Thanks. Okay, thanks to all of you for this very positive feedback. We did our best, and also to give you the best food, the best food for mind to start this ideation process. And you have, as you understood, you have already started this ideation process. Most of you already had some ideas, and with the exploration, you got already ideas. And with this 2 days session, you already had some ideas. So it's started. It's already started. So what we will share here, it's just in 5 minutes, how to proceed. And we'll propose to join you in several groups, ideally not one person group, because ideation with one person, with yourself, it's really not a good way. It's maybe to have groups based on your industry, and maybe even we could join, as you see with this session, we can even join waste management with agriculture, for instance. It's possible. It will bring more than if you are only one or two having ideas together. So as you know, to start this ideation, as we have shared yesterday, you need to be clear about the key needs you have identified with your non-customers. What are the key needs of your non-customers. You have this this part here on the platform. To do that, you have the utility map, as we saw yesterday with the Tumelang, for instance. You point for each of your interviews, you make a cross at each cells in the utility map. When you have identified an issue, a pain point, something the non-customer, the interviewer, the interviewee like or dislike. So it will make you focus and go on the big elements. That's very important. And these big elements you will identify with the utility map, they are the key needs. And maybe there are 3, maximum 4 key needs you will identify. It's where all your interviews converge. Okay. Feel free to ask questions. Is it all clear for you here, this part? All good?
Yeah,
yeah,
makes sense.
Yes, that makes sense.
Okay. And the second part, it's what we were discussing yesterday and today, and you already had a lot from your interviews too. It's this 6-pass description. The maximum you have 6-pass description with a long list here for each of the 6-pass. The biggest chance you have to find a lot of ideas, and these ideas you need, as we said, to list all of them. And then you will, when you will be in the converging phase, you will discuss with your group. In collective intelligence is very key. So when you will be discussing these ideas, this long list, you will merge some of them, you will eliminate some of them, you will make them, make reordering, prioritize, and it will be at this moment you will be able to have very big and good ideas by the discussion, by the exchange. It's all of that. So how this ideation works, it's a 3-step process. First step, as I said here, it's share and discuss the key needs you have identified during your interviews. Share this with your team, with the coaches, with other entrepreneurs who are working in these close industries, agriculture and waste management, even housing. We saw that it's connected. So share with all of them, and it will make you, integrating these key needs and very clear about these key needs. And you can also challenge each other. Second step, so having these key needs, first step. Second step, as I said, it's each member will review each of the 6-pass row by row in focalizing on these key needs you have identified. So this is a first step where your group, you will be split in maybe 3-4 people group, with the coaches also visiting you, with Jason, George, and me visiting you, and discussing and just taking time alone. Each participant of your group take first a moment to write all the ideas he has when he go row by row, step by row by row on each of the 6-pass, focalizing on the key needs, maybe 3-4 key needs you have identified. And this is the best way to have a big list of ideas, completing the ideas you already had. You list all these ideas. You see on the platform you have this the seventh part here, ideation, where you list all the ideas. You don't need to give big details at this step. Just give a name of the idea and maybe a value proposition, just to describe the idea, to remember what is it about. That's all you need at this step. But you need to have, as we said yesterday, 100, 150 ID, a long list, very long list for each industry, each project. So you list all the ideas you add, and maybe during the interviews, during the sessions yesterday and today with the guest speakers, and all the ideas you will have here now. You need to list all of them, and that's a collaborative platform. So each of the participants in your group doing this ideation with you, they can add ideas on their own directly, and you have this list growing. And this fourth step, it's reorder. It's a prioritization, but this prioritize these ideas, you will do it tomorrow. We'll take time tomorrow to show you how to proceed. It's prioritization and using maybe the PMS map. We have we'll give you more details tomorrow. But so what we propose is today. It's to be clear about the key needs, sharing these key needs with your and discussing these key needs, going step by step, just on your own, and then step by step on each of the 6 paths, having with these key needs to focalize on these key needs. So, for instance, there is a growing movement to know where our food comes from society, and the key needs. It's from Itumeleng, I think it's agriculture. Yeah, and your key needs, Itumeleng, you have identified. You can refresh me about this, please. It was, you said yesterday. Can you refresh me, Itumeleng, with the key needs you have identified during your interviews?
Oh, yeah. So I think I need to put it on the platform, but I have it on my.
But we said yesterday,
we said there was the key need was the education that the farmers needed to know how the
simplicity. It's mostly simplicity. Understanding.
And also about production as well, in terms of saving them time. Because for some of it, it was a bit difficult with back orders. So that was another need to be more transparent about that. That's what's coming.
I remember it was on several stages. It was a lot of about simplicity and understanding why they need this or this pesticide, when, for which use, and what would be the impact on the production and everything. So you see, I take this key need. It's one of the key needs. I have this key need in my mind, and I read the first row. There is a growing movement to know where our food comes from society as a time trend. Okay, so how can I bring simplicity for the farmers with this trend of the origin, to know the origin of my food what time? Maybe it's I will propose maybe like, I don't know, like a little like on the back, like consulting to support the farmer, maybe with a tool and some consulting, some service, just to let him very simply have a tracking system for each ingredient, any ingredients he has, any pesticide he uses, any production he has from vegetable, of meat, and everything. And it's very simple for him. So he can very easily show to the label, organic label, all this label, bringing value to his food, to his production, and increasing his revenues, because increasing his margin. And it helps him to just buy the machine. He has nothing to do, just answering some simple question. And I think that's a big idea. It does not exist, for instance, I think in South Africa, such an idea. And it brings them money, a lot of money, and simplicity. You see how I do? It's just focalization on one of the key needs, and row by row for each of the 6 paths, you do the same. You write, all the members of the ideation group write this idea on the platform, and then you share and you discuss these ideas. And these ideas, you will have like a ping-pong discussion, and it will bring collective intelligence, and it will make bigger ideas, because you will add some ideas to the other one. Oh, okay, I had something, maybe not far. Oh, what is it when we put this and that? Or maybe these ideas, all the group think it's very good, so it's on the top, and then another one. It's step by step. This is a process. And it's very important to list all ideas and then to discuss each of them. And in the discussion, you will start to prioritize. That's why on the platform, as you know, you have this, if I go here on, for instance, you see my screen, yeah, on the, no, sorry, I will need to, okay. Yeah, if I go on the platform here, you can see, for instance, for agriculture, you have here in this, so you have these key needs here. So yeah, in 2 million, you need to add your 4 key needs you have shared with us. And then row by row, you go each member of the group, row by row, having these key needs just here, written here. And you write all these IDs, you add IDs here on this button here, add ID. The objective is to add the maximum of IDs, and then you have these reorder IDs. And you can drag and drop based on the prioritization you do, you see, to have the first selection. Okay. The selection, I think, for today, the objective, your objective for today is to have the maximum of IDs, and it's a challenge. 100, like Maya said, 100, 150 ID per group. It's a big, yeah, but it's possible. You see, you have been fueled a lot, and you have this focalization, because doing focalization on each of these 6 paths content, it will bring you a lot of ideas. Some question? Do you have some question about this? You see, it's quite simple. It looks simple, but it's very efficient, powerful. Do you have some, maybe George and Jason, you want maybe to complete here, to give your...
I have a question about
tips.
this.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
So let's say we have, in my case, we've identified the key need, simplicity. Then I would go through each row of the 6 paths,
like I did.
Come up with an idea for each row, for each 6 paths.
Yeah, it's a better way to have the maximum of ID, to make a focus with this. And each key needs, if you are 1, 2, 3 key needs, you will do the same for each of the key needs. You see the multiplication of potential. Yeah, so it's big, so it's the best way to have.
So it will be the 1 key need, and then go row by row for each row.
On a trend, or on an alternative industry, or decision chain. Okay. For instance, I can do the same with these simplicity things, to understand what I'm doing with pesticide, with economy, and so on. Farmers move to more sustainable and promote soil health. It's the same. You can bring them simplicity to understand the impact, really simply, to understand. It's I don't know. It's a tool. It's a consulting. It's just you bring them the understanding of the impact they have on their soil, because this soil is the future. Also, if the soil become poor, they cannot use it anymore in the future. It's a big problem. So, they can optimize the use of this soil. It's a big idea. You see, and it's connected also with Biomed. You know, this put you in touch with the founder of Biomed. They are not far from that, using special vegetable, special plants to feed the soil instead of pesticide. Now you see, step by step, it will be, because it's focalization on open door. It's very efficient.
Yeah.
Maybe George and Jason, you can share some tips on this part here.
Well, a way to generate a lot of ideas is that each member of the team actually goes through it and, without talking to each other, throws out as many ideas, and then you resort and select. Because if each of you get together and try to generate ideas, you're going to
discussions.
You spend a lot of time. So the
empty
first
discussions
thing,
on one idea, and you need the maximum of idea.
So you just chuck the ideas out, and then you can go back once all the ideas are. But you need it is a group exercise. I remember in one of my workshops, this guy came up and said, "George, I've drawn the curve. I'm not getting any ideas." Because I mean, if you have the idea, then you don't need the curve. The curve is so that everybody can come together and discuss different ideas. And the 6th path is one such methodology.
Yeah, you can have maybe 10, 20 minutes session when you are each member alone, individually, thinking about this idea. Like I said, it's following row by row with this focus on the key needs. And then you share, and maybe for 20 minutes, you share, and you don't take maybe 10 minutes just to discuss one idea. You just share all these ideas with, one after the other one. And it's, in French, we say ping pong, it's a ping pong thing. It's very...
And also, if all the members of the team are not not around at the same time, you send a mail to them and ask them to generate it. You'll be able to have a conversation tomorrow.
Yeah, of course. It's
get as many people involved in the process now, because the ideas sometimes come from the most unexpected sources, and it might be in the conversation between your idea and his idea or her idea. Yeah.
And this list of ideas, you can have it with you when you will, because a lot of you will have, again, other interviews. You can have this list of ideas and make your interviewee reacting to these ideas. It can bring you also a lot. But it's not yet finalized. You need to think that it's a work in progress. It will be until the 3rd of February, you will be still work in progress in your selection, ideas, and it's normal. It's a continuous process, and you are now diverging, finding a maximum of ideas, and step by step, you will be converging to a very clear, maybe a mix of several ideas, and you have already discussed with the group, with coaches, with maybe your interviewees, from, I don't know, from cities, and it will be clear for you that there is something, you see. You don't need to select your ideas today or tomorrow. It will be a continuous process. Okay. Some other questions? And maybe, Jason, you want to share your tips? Yeah.
Well, yeah, here it's a difficult part where, yes, we are diverging and thinking as much as possible, but at the same time, we're trying to start developing proto strategies. So you don't want to close down your thinking too quickly, but at the same time, as you start discovering the connections between different non-customer groups, discovering the behaviors of non-customers and learning from them, you have to have this balance of starting to collect these proto strategies and at the same time not jumping to conclusions so far. So be discovery oriented, but at the same time have your senses ready to start, when you start seeing something, to start allowing it to happen, essentially. So it's a tough balance, but I would lean more towards the side of discovery. But if you start seeing something, it's very good to start starting to form those strategies. But no pressure, just keep an open mind.
We have time.
Exactly. Keep an open mind. And sometimes, as we've found time and time again, you might have some early ideas, then at the last minute you say, whoa, there's a whole new area here that we need to explore. And that happens often as well. So just keep open and available.
And don't get stuck by where you started from.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes you want to try and bring a solution very quickly. Your starting point is just that, a starting point on a journey of discovery, as Jason says. So discuss, talk, research. You've had some ideas from the last 2 days. You might find that you pivot into a totally different area. Doesn't matter. You'll be able to bring it together. You'll have to work a little harder then, but
So do we have other question? Just to be sure that you are all comfortable with this process. It's a collective intelligence process, but you see there are some part where you are alone, having a maximum of ideas, but then you share and it becomes bigger, it becomes convergent. And then you can start again with, maybe pass per pass, time trends and alternative. And you can do several sessions like this with individuals, group, and pass by pass. Some question. To Melanie, maybe you have a question again? All clear? Yeah? All is clear? Yeah, okay, good. So we will be visiting you also to don't be afraid. We'll be visiting you with George, Jason, and me. We recommend, so as we said, because the objective is to have a maximum of ideas and to find maybe 2, 3, 5 big interesting ideas, very broad. So changing the rules, it's all about changing the rules, but finding something new, a new business. So will be maybe it's good to have, as I said, groups per industry. Even if at the end of this ideation, when you do the selection, each member of the group go apart and with this idea you want to develop. But yeah, it's good that you would be maybe 3, 4 per group. It's